welcome back to Random Generation Gaming. We gonna play something, and today we playing G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. Now you can see the Hasbro logo come up. G.I. Joe is a trademark of Hasbro, and you're probably saying Random Generation Gaming. G.I. Joe is a highly popular cartoon series and highly popular toy and comic book. Even though G.I. Joe did have a movie, what makes G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra game number 15 of my games attached to movie franchises? Well, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra was the name of the G.I. Joe movie that had starring Channing Tatum. So as you can see, okay, loud music, but as you can see, the G.I. Joe also had two movies. It's not just a toy and cartoon line, but it also had two movies starring Channing Tatum. In the first one, The Rock, in the second one. And as you can see, Channing Tatum's likeness there on the front, and the actress that played Scarlett on the front. So this G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, is from the movie. It has the same voice acting and likenesses of the characters from the movie, the actual movie. And this one was based off the movie. So because it was based off the movie, this is okay, let's skip this so we cannot hear all this music. Jeez, lots of music. Okay. So because this one was based off the actual movie that came out, the G.I. Joe movie was pretty good. It stayed true to the, lots of action. It stayed true to the franchise, the cartoons, the cartoon series, cartoon movies, the comic books, the toys, But it stayed true to the cartoon series most of all. So yeah, this is game number 15 of games with movie franchises attached. I brung you some obscure ones like Doom, Starship Troopers. I brung you some big ones like Avatar, Terminator. Brung you the RTS of Aliens vs. Predator that nobody knew about. It used to be one of my favorite PS2 games. I brung you the Predator game. I brung you Conan, Transformers, Star Trek.
Mars supplied some of our best weapons in the past, and we can't let all that tech get in the hands of the bad guys. Joes, let me introduce you to Dr. Adam Burkhart. We'll be working with him to take Mars down.
After years of being forced against my will to design Mars weaponry at their ice pack base, I'm glad to finally be free to help.
Duke Hauser, codename Duke, Conrad Hauser. Funny story with the G.I. Joe toys. Snake Eyes.
You look bored without anybody to shoot, Baroness. You need some reading material?
The Snake Eyes toy.
What I need
first action figure
is already here.
So this is being played on an emulator on a low spec laptop PC. It can hold up on this laptop. Emulators are very hard on computer hardware, so it are very demanding on computer hardware.
What the?
So if it can hold up on this laptop, it can hold up, especially if you're not recording.
Heavy duty!
Duke.
It also focuses on the toy line and the cartoon a lot too, because you can pick
Viper
up
had this on him. What do you think
different
it
Joes in this
is?
game. It is a co-op game, but you can play it solo and switch between two people. They should have did a similar for adaptations this game back in the day. Yeah, so it's delayed. The voices are coming before the scenes, so hopefully that's just with the cutscenes, but we'll find out. So yeah, funny story about G.I. Joe. As a G.I. Joe fanatic, I had all the action figures but none of the vehicles. I used to take styrofoam appliance will come in a styrofoam like a microwave or something and turn it into G.I. Joe bases. I used to tie strings from trees and tie them around a toothpick and stick them in the dirt. Okay, first thing we would do is cut down the music. Okay, that's better. And let's cut up the brightness. That's better. And let's see if the subtitles are on. Settings, controls. Okay. Let's do missions. So we're starting with Duke and Scarlet. So you can pick up other Joes along the way, Joes that weren't in the movie. Of course, everybody loves Snake Eyes.
Welcome to Bear's Paw Canyon, Joes. The Mars facility, codenamed Genesis, is about 20 clicks to your north.
Been forced to work for Mars. I had access to much of their operation beyond the ice pack. This facility has been working with microscopic tech called nanomites. They'll save so that any accidents involving the metal-eating nanomites would only destroy the facility and not...
All due respect, Doctor. I'm not in the mood for a history lesson right now. Stow it, Duke.
Stow it, Duke.
Saying is that we should be trying to track Heavy Duty and Baroness. The Mars facilities can wait.
Fair enough, but watch that attitude, Duke. Now, go find Heavy Duty and see if you can track the Baroness while you're at it.
It's Baroness, not Baroness. So yeah, my history with G.I. Joe, I would,
Yo,
come
Joe.
on, they still talking.
Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe.
Okay, that's
Yo,
the
Joe.
emulator. Can I skip that? Music's still a little loud. Let's see if we can do anything about that. Okay, I'm taking it all the way down. It's getting ridiculous now. Okay, so my history with G.I. Joe, I used the General Hawk action figure to pretend that he was Indiana Jones because he had the brown coat on when I was into Indiana Jones. My first G.I. Joe action figure was Snake Eyes because I had Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi and I needed Darth Vader and couldn't find that toy. So I turned Snake Eyes into him. Then later I got into the black suit Spider-Man when I was reading comic books. So I taped the white spider on that Snake Eyes, some white eyes, some white on the gloves, and I turned him into
Sure
Spider-Man.
got quiet all of a sudden. Sure got quiet all of a sudden.
Wow, he is really delayed. That's not gonna work for me. Sergeant Slaughter, which was a famous wrestler, was in the G.I. Joe series, one of the 5-part series. G.I. Joe used to come out with movies, 2.5-hour movies or 2-hour movies that they would turn into 5-part series when their series started. And Sergeant Slaughter was famous in the 4th one. So I was a G.I. Joe fanatic. So I ordered Sergeant Slaughter. William the Refrigerator Perry was an honorary G.I. Joe. He's a football player. I ordered him. Cobra Commander had his helmet with the silver face, but he also had a hooded helmet with just the eyes cut out. I had to order that one. To order these things, you would get either from a cereal box or a UPC code from the back of a G.I. Joe action figure. You get enough of them, send them in, and you could order special Joes that you couldn't find in the store. Special G.I. Joe action figures. My parents would hook it up for me. I would save them all, and they would come in the mail, and I would have extra figures. Like I said, I was more interested in the figures than the vehicles. Made my own bases out of styrofoam. Only had one vehicle, I believe that was the hovercraft, the Cobra hovercraft, and every single action figure came with a
Sure got quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah,
sure
man,
got quiet.
come on now, they really talking. Every G.I. Joe vehicle came with an action figure. I had all the G.I. Joe pets because certain G.I. Joes like Junkyard and his pet dog Mutt, they would come together. The new Snake Eyes came with a wolf. What else can I tell you about G.I. Joe? The old action figures, the arms didn't bend or the legs didn't bend. Then they made it where the legs bent. Then they made it where the arms bent. They always had a grip where you could put the little weapons. They would come with weapons in their hands. The old action figures' heads used to turn left and right. Then they made it where the heads could go up and down. You could take a sharp knife, unscrew the hole in the back. Open up the hole in the back. Take a screwdriver, take the screw out, and take the G.I. Joe apart. They were held together by a rubber band. You could interchange their parts, which you weren't supposed to do. But if they broke, you could double up a regular rubber band and attach the legs back to the top of the body. So yeah, I was a real G.I. Joe fanatic. I had the comic books. I still got the comic book. The first comic book that showed Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are brothers. Not brothers, from the same ninja clan. That comic book had no words in it. It's like G.I. Joe number 26. It's super famous. It had no words in it, just all pictures. And it was revolutionary at the time. It showed them in Vietnam and showed them as part of the same ninja clan, all that stuff. I got Snake Eyes origin. Yeah, so yeah, a real G.I. Joe fanatic. So couldn't wait to see the movie.
Sure
Nobody played this game, but I couldn't wait to see it.
all of a sudden. Sure got quiet all of a sudden.
So you can switch between Joes with the shoulder button.
Sure got quiet all of a sudden. Sure got quiet all of a sudden. Sure got quiet all of a sudden. Sure got quiet all of a sudden.
Look out! Turrets! Look out! Turrets! Look out!
The audio
Turrets!
is really
Look out!
jacked up.
Turrets! Look out! Turrets! Look out! Turrets! Look out!
Wow. So it's kind of a twin stick shooter. So Duke can hit you and kick you, and Scarlet can roundhouse you and kick you, backflip you. I think they can do some rolling. Yeah, rolling. does triangle do? What does circle do? And they can crouch. Okay. I used to read G.I. Joe versus Transformer comic books. I even found old ones with Snake Eyes. Even found screenshots with Snake Eyes sitting on Optimus Prime's shoulder. Used those when I worked at Craft Job. I had those as my screenshots on my computer or my desktop on my computer. So yeah, I'm a true blue G.I. Joe fanatic. I wish they'd come out with a real G.I. Joe game. Snake Eyes is supposed to be getting his own movie, and I'm pretty sure they'll do a G.I. Joe versus Transformers movie.
Looks like they're trying to block the road, Duke.
Because G.I. Joe and Transformers, even though Transformers was originally Japanese and was sold to Hasbro, G.I. Joe and Transformers are both Hasbro products, and that's why they've been in each other's comic books, and I'm sure they'll do a movie about it, even though they haven't been in each other's cartoon. But they did have Transformers cartoon, then Transformers the movie cartoon, and then Transformers live action movie. And they did the same thing with G.I. Joe cartoon series, G.I. Joe the movie cartoon, G.I. Joe live action. So I predicted back in the 90s that Aliens versus Predator, because I used to read the comic book, would eventually have a movie crossover. So I'm predicting that G.I. Joe and Transformers will eventually have a movie crossover because the comic book did it first. I think that's all the information.
Taking cover behind this stuff will protect you from enemy fire.
Okay. Now, the cool thing about G.I. Joe game is if she crouches, he's supposed to crouch.
Can the colorful
Oh, come on, can I really skip the talking?
commentary, Stalker? I'm trying to work over here. Work over here.
Now, when he ducks, she's supposed to duck. But I think that's just when you're behind cover. But I remember playing this. One of them ducked, the other one ducked. Keep in mind, I am playing this on a PS2 emulator with a PS4 controller, and I'm recording. I could have boosted up the graphics quality, but it wouldn't have helped.
Watch out for bad guys that attack from range. Use cover and destroy their cover as quickly as possible.
Great.
Oh yeah. That's right. You can shoot a special weapon, a grenade or something. How do you do that again? Let's see. Let's look at the controls. And it does have vehicles too, that's pretty good. I can't look at the controls. How do you look at those? I guess you look at those back at the base.
Get up close and personal. Those shields won't do squat against good old fought against good old fought against good old.
Okay, man, I get it. Okay. Drop in, out co-op with the PS2 network adapter. Pretty cool. It's weird because I used to make it where one would stay in cover. Should they not? If you get in cover, the other one's supposed to stay in cover. It's weird that they're not doing that. Now, there is a special way to use the crossbow.
Perfect. Move out, Joes.
How do you do this again? That's regular shooting, but she should be able to shoot like a special missile, and I don't know how that even works, what button it is. It's not square, it's not X, so it's either circle, triangle. Okay, so it's not R1, it's not R2, it's not L2, so it's either L1, circle. Okay, that's what it is, it's circle to shoot the grenades. Okay, good time to end the video. So this is G.I. Joe. This is G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. This is game number 15 in my games with movie franchises attached. I plan on playing more of this. I want to get my Snake Eyes, who has a pistol and a sword, and collect more Joes and move through it. But for now, you've seen enough to know that this is another obscure random game that is attached to a movie franchise, and the movie franchise is G.I. Joe. And like I said, some of the games were games first, then movies, and some of the games are movies first, then games. Either way, they have movie franchises attached to it. I've brung you 15. I really like doing this series. I have enough to do a second list, but let me know in the comments what movie games you want to see. And I haven't even played any that are just strictly tell the movie, like the old Spider-Man movie games where you play the game first and it'll spoil the whole movie for you because it goes through the movie from beginning to end. I like to bring you the more obscure ones. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, share the video, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, donate to the PayPal. So just like we're using this new mic, we can get better equipment to make these emulators run smooth, and even bring games that I have no way of recording because I don't have the equipment or the resources to get it yet. Yeah, watch all my other series, my other videos, and thanks for watching. This is Random Generation Gaming, G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra.